It's dark out on a Thursday night here, a little after 5 p.m., and we are watching a pursuit, making it all that more dangerous. This driver is driving recklessly, sometimes in the wrong lanes, the wrong direction with oncoming traffic, blowing through a red light right there. This is a stolen car pursuit in the Van Nuys area, has been in the Lake Balboa area. LAPD is on this one, looking at the Van Nuys airport there, I believe, obviously with the airplanes. Right there you have some kind of private type, not private, but quiet roads. Not a lot of traffic on these side streets here sometimes by this airport. But when you get on the main streets, you can tell it is rush hour in Los Angeles with bumper-to-bumper traffic in some spots, which is why that driver went in the wrong direction with oncoming traffic. This right here, not a lot of traffic, but once they get into more of the main streets and get away from that airport, I'm sure. Oh, wow. Is that a side street there? Again, a small street. I don't see, there you go, there's law enforcement. You see those red lights behind the vehicle there in that wider shot. You can see them. They're following this vehicle. We just picked up the pursuit not too long ago, so hard to tell if this driver is going in any certain pattern or staying in a certain area. We picked it up in the Van Nuys area, still here in the Van Nuys area. There you see that trail of law enforcement. There you see that police helicopter. They have those night vision goggles too, making it very easy for them to track the stolen car there from the air. All right, let's bring in our police specialist, Tim Lynn. Tim, thanks a lot for joining us on this Thursday night here, our second pursuit of the afternoon, evening here at Fox 11. This guy's been going in a dangerous pattern here.
Yeah, he seems to be driving a little more aggressive than the earlier one, and you see LAP is actually staying engaged in this pursuit, working its way on the east side of Van Nuys Airport, as you were seeing there, as you're going through the industrial areas just the east of the airport, now out onto Balboa. And so it's going to be, LAPD deciding how much they want to put into this. As the policy usually works, if it's a straight stolen, sometimes they'll go into what's called surveillance mode. But this car is driving down the middle of this inner street here, using that center divider to get through, and that is very dangerous because, you're just driving home and you're trying to make that left turn, and all of a sudden you have somebody coming behind you here on the wrong side of the street, making that left turn through traffic, pushing cars just through cars and out of the way as we head onto Roscoe. So it's this driver is definitely more aggressive than we've seen today, and LAPD more than likely won't give up on it because when they start driving like this, it really it puts the public into danger no matter what the police department does. So right now they're trying to get as much information as they can on this car as to where it was stolen, how it was stolen, and if they know who's in the car, if they get information on them. So it's the folks in the station are working to get that intelligence, and the units on the street are just trying to stay close enough to when this goes to foot. They're there to be able to seal down the area or take the suspect into custody. But yeah, using that right shoulder, just blowing by traffic as he continues here on Roscoe, just crossing Yarmouth.
Tim, you'd think this is a freeway when you look at the speeds here. This is not. These are surface streets during busy rush hour, as you can see right there in Los Angeles. That driver there in the bus lane, a very scary pursuit. Now, you say police will stay on this one. Oftentimes, they, as you know, they will back off when it's really dangerous like this, where the guy's going in the wrong lane there and facing traffic oncoming and making moves like that. Might they back off something like that, except for the helicopter?
They will leave the helicopter on, and they will not abandon the pursuit like we saw earlier today, where they just completely abandoned the pursuit, let the car go by itself. And at that point, we saw the suspects get out of the car, start walking to an apartment building, then coming back and getting into the car. This one here, if it continues like this, they're going to get the ground units to back off just a little bit, to stay close, but not right behind them, and let that air unit call the pursuit for them. That tactical flight officer overhead has it on camera as well as out the window, and he's able to let the units know exactly where it's at, forcing its way through the intersection on a red again here on that left-hand turn. Just, I mean, super dangerous here. And also, you were talking, Christine, about the speeds. He was in the 60-mile-an-hour speeds, and these are 35-mile-an-hour roads that he's on. So the problem here is dark. You have pedestrians, which I really worry about because you cannot see the pedestrians till you're right on them. And blowing down the center divider like this is just a matter of time before somebody pulls in front of him or he continues on. I keep the driver pushing through that intersection. It's going to be a matter of time before this driver comes up on a situation where they won't be able to avoid the collision. So really just kind of hold your breath as he goes through each intersection here, working his way down Reseda Boulevard.
Tim, you almost hate to watch this one. I keep averting my eyes, turning away because it's so dangerous, and the fear of somebody getting hit or hurt. We saw a pedestrian in the crosswalk a moment ago. I've seen somebody on a bicycle. There's somebody there on the corner. And you think of motorists there too. We're near the holidays, rain's coming. It's just one of those things where you hate to see somebody who's innocent get hurt here. And look at the way that driver is going on surface streets, 70 miles per hour. As you noted, these are 35-mile-per-hour zones. Very, very scary.
Exactly, and that's what the watch commander in the station is doing, watching the pursuit on probably our feed, and then also that sergeant who's in the pursuit on the ground, making the determination on how aggressive they're going to be chasing this suspect. And right now, I'm just kind of watching the back of the car. I don't see any flashing lights going off the back of the car, so I don't believe there's any units in close. And with a tight shot like this, you really can't see them, but they could be back at least a quarter mile, just staying behind, staying in contact with the car, but not actually chasing the car and letting that area unit handle it. And at some point, if it gets too wild, they more than likely will pull off completely with the guys on the units on the ground, but let that area unit keep an eye on them. And plus, too, we don't know how this car was taken. Yes, it's stolen. It's just a property crime, but was it taken by force, which makes it a robbery? So that's what the information the officers are trying to figure out here. Throwing a U-turn here, going down a side street. And then when he gets into the neighborhoods like this, it gets very difficult to keep an eye on the suspect because of the trees, of the fast turns and things of that sort, and then the darkness. That if he gets out, the air unit will have to go to the infrared system and be able to chase the driver with that infrared camera. So it's kind of difficult for them to get away in a situation like this. But for the pilot himself, it gets very difficult at this point to keep that helicopter position where a tactical flight officer can keep an eye on it. But they're very good at this. They trained all the time with this type of situation, and the chances of them getting away in the open area are slim to none, except when they go into those parking structures or large buildings. But right now, just flying down these residential streets, 50 miles an hour, most residential streets are 25, and these cross streets that he's luckily slowing down at as he pushes through here on Calvin Street and Wyandotte. This is a area where a lot of pursuits end up in the valley. All the times that I have flown, several pursuits have ended up in this area. So we'll have to see what happens here. But back out onto Sherman Way and then into traffic, but besides just forcing his way through traffic as he pushes along.
Yeah, watching this pursuit and more dangerous moves there as this driver is made clear that they are going to do anything they can to get away. Drove through a 7-Eleven parking lot at one point on these surface streets here in Los Angeles. No attempt at the moment, it seems, to try to get on one of the freeways. Perhaps their thought is the freeways might be even more backed up at this hour. Perhaps this is an area that they are comfortable with, in which they know. Or perhaps they don't know how to get to one of the freeways. Tim, I don't know. Do you see any kind of pattern here? We're now in Reseda, from Van Nuys to Reseda.
I'm just seeing turns trying to get distance between himself and the units that they can see in the rearview mirror, because there are units way back, just kind of keeping track of the pursuit. Also, there'll be units staged in the area listening to the pursuit on the radio, and they'll stage themselves in different areas of the valley or this area to keep track of it as it goes by. You may see one or two units on these intersections that we go through. And so it's just a matter of trying to get distance is what most people try to do in these pursuits, make it distance away from the police on the ground, but that air unit's not going to let go. You're wrong side of the street with those right-hand turns. Yeah, you imagine just coming around the corner and then going face-to-face with a car coming at you, not expecting that as it goes around. But, yeah, there's the turns have not been, when I see just straight left turns where they're just kind of doing a box around the block or the straight right turns. But this one seems to be using both directions and covering a lot of ground here, but staying in the valley here near Van Nuys Airport. And we'll have to see if he gets back into that Wyandotte area. Then that's an area, like I said before, that I've had many pursuits come to a termination in that area. But right now, it just looks like continuing on, luckily kind of calming down the driving as it's working its way through this heavy traffic here on Corbin.
And now in the Woodland Hills area, this pursuit covering a little bit of territory now. You know, we don't know how many people are on board, and we do know this pursuit is not too far from where the earlier pursuit ended today. I don't know if there's anything tied to each pursuit or if it just happens to be coincidence. But, you know, you mentioned how dangerous this is, and I'm thinking of people with their loved ones that are there on the roads right now, and how angry you would be if your loved one is caught up in this pursuit, in an accident, injured or killed, how just furiously angry you would be about that. Now in Tarzana, as we continue on, a little bit more open there on that street there, not as much. Well, there you go, there's backup traffic right there. It is rush hour, Tim.
Yes, it is. And wrong side of the street as it worked its way back up here, back up to Tampa. And yeah, you got folks here just trying to get home. And like you were saying, coming into the holiday seasons. Also, we had rain go through the valley earlier today. I don't know. It doesn't look like the streets are wet. So luckily, we're not dealing with the first rain in a long time to make the roadway slippery and cause the car not to be able to be that maneuverable, but really just flying along here using the center dividers to kind of get around the slower traffic. And it fall right there, just kind of cut off, and I think it might have tagged that car in the number 1 lane as it tried to get around that vehicle in the left turn pocket, opposing left turn pocket, now working its way into the neighborhood. So hopefully that little clip that it did there may have damaged that right rear wheel, and hopefully that tire is damaged. But it looks like we're getting up onto the freeway here, onto the 101.
So this is the first we've seen this vehicle, this pursuit, on the freeway. And again, don't know if this person was more comfortable being in that valley area or didn't know how to get to the freeway, but here we go, 101 northbound. So this vehicle is going to actually cover a lot more territory now, going from Van Nuys to Reseda to Woodland Hills, and now on the freeway. And Tim, as you look at it here, it looks like it's wide open enough that this driver can go at a pretty fast rate of speed.
Right, and the good thing about being on the freeway, it takes the pedestrians out of the mix, and also to any cross traffic that this person may run into. And all they're doing is just weaving their way through the traffic and working their way along the freeway. But the 101, you know, as we all know, it can come to a stop as it works through the area. But right now, heading out to the west, or actually to the north, as it's calling it. And yeah, the traffic had come to a stop because of that little choke points that are along the way. But luckily, traffic seems to be quite open here for 5 in the evening as he continues on and working its way through traffic, doing the weave. But the problem is, when a driver is doing this weaving and moving back and forth between traffic, sometimes a gap that they're expecting to shoot through closes up on them, and they're already at a rate of speed to where they can't avoid that collision. And you have a collision occur at 65, 70 miles an hour. A lot can happen. Now it looks like we're taking an off ramp here at DeSoto. That's going to keep him in the west end of the valley. So maybe if we see an eastbound direction after this off ramp, that'll kind of give you an indication he's going to head back to where it all started.
So as we see this different move here with this driver getting off of the freeway, we are hearing that LAPD was going to back off. And I don't know if that's to let CHP take over, but now back on surface streets. So, Tim, I don't know if your sources are giving you any kind of wisdom on that. Do you know by chance if LAPD is backing off because of the danger of this pursuit?
I would say, just in my professional opinion and law enforcement career, I would think they're going to back off just because of the recklessness of the pursuit. I don't have any outside information to confirm that, but in a situation like this where you have a driver doing this, it's best to let that helicopter do the following and just keep the ground units apprised of where it's at so they can stage in the different areas of their jurisdiction. And once they got on the freeway, then the command will start asking CHP if they want to take over, and it's up to CHP CHP to decide whether they want to take it or not. And as we had today, CHP decided not to take the pursuit for quite a while it was on the freeway. But by the time they decided to go up into it, it got off and back into LAPD territory. And now the CHP probably would not get involved because it's down on surface streets. Right through there.
So
and
dangerous.
I saw that other car making the left turn at the same time. So, yeah, it's just luck so far that he hasn't collided with more vehicles. I'm pretty sure he collided with that vehicle that was in the right number 1 lane as he made it through the intersection. And we might be able to see some damage on that right rear. But right now, it looks like we're just going to continue on back over here in the Woodland Hills area. It's kind of slowing down and maybe feeling that with that little move on the freeway, he got enough distance. The driver got enough distance on the pursuit to where they're feeling comfortable that they can get on foot and disappear. But we'll see. There's a U-turn now. It kind of tells you the driver may have realized I'm going the wrong way. I missed that street. I'm going to go down this one now and get over here in the dark and try to get out. Slowing down here, working its way around that car. And I thought for sure we were going to see a foot bail at that point. But right now, it just seems like kind of cruising along here in this residential area looking for a place to go.
Yeah, I'm noticing the slower speeds, which you are as well. And I don't know if that's because this person feels that they're in a less visible space or more confusion.
Lights out in a parking lot. Yep.
Dead end, whether they knew it or not.
Parking lot. Yeah, it's a parking lot behind a business here. You're going to bail out. And it's got a lot of places to run, so the area now is getting onto their infrared, and we'll watch. You see the driver out and going to go over that fence.
Looks like the driver
behind
has
that apartment building.
Something like a backpack.
Yeah, carrying a backpack and dropping things as they go along. Obviously, very important. They want to keep a hold of it. And now working their way out on foot and going to try to blend in as they get back out into the street area, but you can see it being blocked by buildings now as they work their way back towards the front of this complex.
Well, just a reminder for people wherever you live, keep your doors locked. You never know who's going to be coming by. Okay, so that indicates there was one person, it seems, involved in this pursuit. Entering a building there. Wondering if this person knew where they were going and is going to their home, a friend's home.
It could be. That's what we always talk about when they get into an area that's familiar. They'll try to get out of the car, go a couple blocks on foot so they can get to where a safe residence is where they can hide. Not a real good move to pull into the parking lot of the building you're going to hide in because that area is keeping they're much lower than Skyfox right now, and they're keeping a real close eye on which door that driver's going to, and they move a lot quicker to where they get in there. That looks like he's right there working his way through the complex, just kind of walking along with that backpack still. So maybe doesn't know anybody in this complex and is just looking for an opportunity for an open door to get into.
Exactly.
And once it's, you're in an interior hallway, it's going to be hard to figure out which one he went into. But definitely up to the right and in that building right there is where the suspect went in. So if they could get over that little that little atrium that's in the middle there, maybe we can see him pop out. But it looks like this building has those interior type hallways, so it's going to be difficult unless he pops back out here into the pool area.
Well, let's hope some of these residents are watching Fox 11 News and they can alert police to exactly where this driver is and went. It's an interesting move to go into the building and not take off running into the darkness. There's a lot of dark pockets in which one could hide, but this person obviously choosing to wander around this complex. Again, we don't know if they know somebody here, if they live here, if they pulled into that parking spot on purpose with the idea of jumping the wall. Not quite sure, because you would think they maybe came upon a dead end, but the way the person just kind of pulled in and jumped the wall made me kind of wonder if there was some knowledge there. Tim, give me a final thought here.
Yeah, I'm not sure here. It looked like it was going up the stairs, not staying the easiest path. Because normally people, when they run, will run the easiest path. But this subject looks like he went up the stairs, more of a difficult path, and then working its way through that building. Now you see there are officers there at believe that's an officer that might be at the car. But anyway, they're just down. The only thing they could do is lock down this area and then start searching for the suspect. And hopefully residents in that building will start making phone calls to 911 talking about this person inside their building.
Well, we know he has a red hat, red baseball cap. All right, we're going to step away because there's not a lot for us to see and show our viewers at this point in time. We can come back to it if we need to. In the meantime, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the